I am buying XDC over XLM, and here are the reasons why, even though nothing I say is financial advice. Well, I think it all comes down to, hypothetical upside, which I'm in the world of cryptocurrencies for. I'm not looking for a dinosaur. At least that's the way I take a look at it. Even though I don't think XLM is a dinosaur, I still do believe that XDC does, have more room to grow at this point. And the reason why is because if, let's say, XDC were to go to the price of $3, that right there is around a 52x from here. And the market cap it would have at that point, considering current circulating supply, would be around $45 billion. So it's nothing too crazy, right? We've seen BNB reach over 100 billion. We've seen, Dogecoin reach over 80 billion. And also Shiba Inu reach around 40 billion. So I'm not talking about some insane figure here. But even besides that point, on the flip side, can let's say XLM do the same? Now, let's check this out, right? Because if XLM were to do a 52x from here, at that point, the price would be $26, around that, right? And market cap would be around $780 billion. Now, this is considering current circulating supply for the market cap. But even besides that, what is more realistic, logically speaking, to do over a 50x from here? XDC or XLM? I think hands down, it's going to be XDC because it's going to have an easier time doing that. Like, it doesn't need such an insanely high market cap. You got to think about this, right? Ethereum back in 2021 reached, around $550 billion in market cap, depending on the site or exchange, a little bit more, right? Maybe a little bit less. But even besides that, you got to think about, is it logical for XLM to reach a market cap of around $780 billion during this bull run? I'm not saying like 20 years down the line, 10 years. I'm saying like, let's say 6 months to 10 months from right now. I don't really think so. I think that the probability again of, either of these two doing over 50x is going to be a lot higher when it comes to XDC when compared to XLM. And am I saying that, when it comes to XLM, the Stellar blockchain is bad or anything like that? No. I think it's very good. And I do believe that XLM during this bull run can, let's say, go to the price of $6. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't think it can go to like $26, but $6, I don't see why not. If let's say the bull run was in fifth gear, all the bullish factors are there. The sentiment is very high. Again, XLM, $6 wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. But when it comes to reaching like $26 or anything above $20 or even above $10, I think that's a no-go for XLM during this bull run, even though I don't think it's bad, because you got to take a look at, for instance, the Stellar blockchain, right? It's lightning fast. Everyone knows that. It's very amazing. And also, does it have better adoption than XDC? Absolutely. Is it more popular? Of course. Does it have more fans? Yes. But again, naturally, because of that, XLM, I think its room for growth isn't as dynamic as XDC as of right now, because you got to think about the XDC network. It's somewhat similar to Stellar in a sense, but then, of course, it has way less fans and way less hype. However, again, the room for growth is still there, and that's why I like it. Now, why do I say they're kind of same in a sense? Well, not really, but here's the thing. You take a look at the XDC network is an enterprise-grade blockchain protocol that was purpose-built for global trade and finance. So if you think about it, in a sense, Stellar and the XDC network, they're kind of focused on the same market. Also, on top of that, this market isn't bad, though. You take a look at, for instance, according to Mordor Intelligence, the global trade and finance market is expected to reach $5 trillion by 2028. And now this right here could very well just be a conservative estimate. We don't know. But still, even despite that, it's a very big figure nonetheless. The GDP of Canada back in 2023, right, was around $2 trillion. So this is very impressive. And with a market predicted to be this massive, it's only natural that there's going to be a lot of competitors, which there is. The competition is very stiff. Of course, we have Stellar, we have something like Ripple. We also take a look at the XDC network, of course, right? But then it doesn't necessarily mean that there's only going to be one dominating, player, because you got to take a look at how, when it comes to the world of cars, for instance, there's so many car brands, right? You take a look at Volvo, you take a look at, for instance, BMW. Do you think that Volvo has like 90% market share? No, it does not. But then it's still considered wildly successful. Why is that? It's still able to hire, tens of thousands of employees. And again, the reason for that is because the car market is so massive. It doesn't need 90% market share. So when people say, oh, Ripple is going to be the dominating one. Oh, you take a look at, for instance, Stellar is going to be the number one. Or you take a look at sometimes people saying, oh, XDC is going to be the best. Well, in my opinion, there may be a number one. Who knows? Only time will tell. But it doesn't necessarily mean that, Ripple or Stellar has to go down in order for the XDC network to go up. No, I think there's going to be room for a lot of the good players to eat, so to speak. Now we take a look at the XDC network is very special though, because for instance, we take a look at how it utilizes, right, the SynFin delegated proof of stake consensus mechanism, which I think is awesome. And also on top of that, its network is powered by the XDC protocol. So yeah, just take that into consideration. However, even besides that point, it has the ability to be integrated with internal legacy systems, such as, for instance, Swift payment databases. And no, I'm not talking about Taylor Swift. I'm talking about like the actual banking Swift, which is, I think, very amazing and spectacular, to be honest. And of course, I'm talking about the XDC protocol here. But again, it even has the ability to integrate data into the blockchain using the ISO 20022 electronic data interchange standard. So yeah, that's pretty awesome as well. So as I begin to say all of this, I think it's clearly evident how, the XDC network, in terms of pure fundamentals, it doesn't necessarily lose out to like Ripple or like, a Stellar blockchain, for instance, right? But yeah, besides that point, you take a look at, when it comes to ISO 20022, it's currently being used by many financial institutions from all around the world for inter-organizational data exchange. So that's really amazing. I mean, the fact that it can even integrate data into the blockchain, again, using that, I mean, caralho, porra. I had to start speaking some Portuguese because when something is that amazing, we have to start speaking some Portuguese. Eu sou brasileiro de coração. But yeah, besides that point, we take a look at as well, we'll see that on its network, it can facilitate over 2,000 transactions per second. And not to mention as well, this is a very crazy figure, right? I mean, you got to take a look at how amazing the XDC network is. But even besides that point, with all that being said, again, when it comes to XDC, I think it's one of a kind. XLM isn't bad. I'm not saying that. I think $6, why not? I think the Stellar blockchain is fantastic. But if I could only put all my eggs into one basket during this bull run, it's going to have to be XDC without a doubt. XDC compared to XRP, which I made in my previous video. XDC, I think, is the winner. And when it comes to XLM, I think it's the winner here for me as well, especially with the bull run potentially being this amazing. You take a look at the trajectory for Bitcoin. Even though it's had a slight pullback, I think better days are ahead. With over 600 million crypto owners currently, more than ever before in history, according to Crypto.com research, I don't think the bull run's going to be bad. As Bitcoin reaches $150,000, $200,000, could you imagine what happens to altcoins in general? Again, I'm not saying XLM is going to perform badly, but I think that XDC could just perform that much better. And again, at the price of $3 during this bull run, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And that's why I'm choosing XDC, at least personally for me, because I do believe that its hypothetical upside is much better. Even though it's on a micro cap, it can't do 1000x. But for me, it's good enough. And again, I think it's better than XLM from this point onwards, at least for the next 6 months to 10 months. At least that's the way I view it. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's Willie the Captain. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.